Hello, my name is Lauren Diapoli, and I'm a student at the University of New England studying applied nutrition. In this presentation, we will discuss the development of intervention strategies through an assessment of obesity determinants for African American women in South Carolina. First, we will look at the various obesity determinants that affects the weight status of African American women in South Carolina to best determine how to reach individuals on every level of the socio-ecological model. Then we will discuss the impact of those overweight and obesity determinants and discuss potential intervention strategies to target the specific needs of this group. Then I will outline some potential steps to action that we can collectively take to eliminate these burdens and provide African American women in South Carolina cost-effective and evidence-based tools for health and wellness. And I'll conclude the presentation with specific goals of potential interventions. On the outer ring of the socio-ecological model is where we assess the environmental impacts like agricultural policies and societal norms and how they affect women in South Carolina. Common trends of health conditions seen in African American women can be linked to food science and mass production of affordable, low-nutrient, energy-dense foods. Marketing campaigns and social media-related content directly target specific groups on TV and in internet ads. Financially disproportionate conditions increase the burden of purchasing behavior and health-related risks for African American females. Common misconceptions on the cost of healthy foods further increase poor decision-making when shopping. Body size misperceptions, societal acceptance of larger sizes for African American women, all pose barriers for effective weight loss. Also contributing to the weight status of South Carolinian African American women is the insufficient wages and increased need for spending time working, which can hinder scheduling adequate time for exercise or healthcare screenings. In communities, lower-income residents more commonly shop at supercenters and purchase more low-cost, low-nutrient-dense foods, which has been linked to an increased BMI. Worksite conditions like unhealthy snacks and prevalence of junk food provided for celebrations make avoidance of those foods very difficult. Increased screen time in work settings also limits physical activity. The southeast region of the United States has been referred to as the diabetes belt, which is related to high prevalence of obesity. Many community factors contribute to this, like common sedentary lifestyle due to high heats, limiting outdoor activities, or communities that can be classified as food swamps. The University of South Carolina Upstate has determined that African American women have the lowest level of physical activity within the state. This may be due in part to the safety level of the communities where African American women predominantly live. The rate of obesity in America is highest in rural African American women, so it's important to look at how interpersonal relationships impact individuals' decision-making and health-related behaviors. Interactions with friends, family members, community members, and healthcare professionals affect this population's health and weight status. While African American women do express concerns over their weight and health status, they seem to engage less in organized weight intervention programs than other groups of females do. Gym memberships and high costs of programs can limit participation. Lower-income females often have greater responsibilities and commitment to caring for their families without financial or childcare assistance, which could potentially limit time that could be used for personal care activities. Regular family dinners and holiday meals often include high-fat, calorically dense food with traditional recipes passed down through generations. Looking at individual determinants, we assess what information is needed to promote healthy behavioral habits. Lack of adequate healthcare services with professionals who are trained in nutrition promotion and obesity prevention also increases the risk for this population. Biological and psychological effects contribute to an individual's weight status, like genetics, pregnancy, medical and physical health conditions, and mental perceptions. Lack of nutrition education and unawareness of available resources, compounded with financial instability, all contribute to individual African American women in South Carolina's dietary intake and the state of obesity. The impacts to these obesity determinants are that South Carolina is the 10th most obese state in America. The percentage of individuals with a BMI over 30 has gone up from 12% in 1990 to 34.1% in 2017. African American women in particular have the highest prevalence of obesity than any other gender and ethnic group. In South Carolina, 41.6% of African American females are obese. Underserved African American females are at a disproportionately higher risk for obesity. Waist circumference and high BMI increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and obesity-related cancer. Addressing the underlying conditions to reduce these burdens, we should seek to improve knowledge, provide tools, and encourage support systems to promote obesity prevention and treatment. The proposed intervention will be framed by the social cognitive theory and will take into account how personal conditions and the environment affect behaviors. All participants will be asked to come in for monthly in-person events that include interactive educational seminars. All of the educational information will be written at an appropriate grade level. It will be presented at monthly meetings, but will also be available in fun, interactive presentation form in an online application. There will also be free, culturally appropriate group exercise classes. Increasing participation in obesity interventions is vital to success. This program will be incentivized with fun interactive classes, coupons for healthy foods, and meals from cooking demonstrations will be provided. At the initial meeting with the nutrition and healthcare professionals who are trained in social cognitive theory, the participant will be shown how to obtain and utilize an internet-based self-monitoring weight loss application. It will have motivational prompts and guided tools to set goals and engage in healthy behavior changes within their specific environment. The application will provide tools to promote desired changes according to the participant's specific, measurable, attainable, result-focused, time-bound goals. Self-monitoring tools will include a food and fitness log, as well as a way to track anthropometric measurements. When the individual reaches or achieves a self-determined daily goal, they will be getting a message of positive reinforcement. If they do not hit goals, they will be given motivational interviewing style responses, which are geared to work them through their ambivalence to change. The health professionals who design the application will do frequent participation assessments. Redetermining the community's needs is the key to providing a successful obesity treatment intervention. This proposed internet application-based intervention can increase participation in these programs by providing a structural component that participants can take with them as they go off into their regular lives. This psychosocial-based application will also include recipes, substitution lists, shopping lists, grocery store guidelines and tips for successful shopping, tricks to avoiding food waste, lists of local places where health foods are available for affordable prices, resources for food banks, and information on how to apply for SNAP benefits, and as previously discussed, self-monitoring tools for anthropometric measurements, food logs, and physical activity journaling. The goal of this internet application-based obesity intervention for African American women in South Carolina is to encourage self-efficacy through social cognitive theory-framed intervention, increasing this population's awareness of risks associated with obesity, improving nutrition knowledge for health benefits, while expanding access to resources that limit the burden of food insecurity, is a huge step in the right direction. Thank you so much for your time, and here is a list of references that were used for this presentation.